listening to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. Before we get started, if you could, please leave us a rating and some feedback from wherever you get your podcasts from. It helps us make better content for you. Also, if you could share this podcast with your friends, we'd appreciate that as well. This is episode 127, where we sit down with Sarah Van Acker, the warehouse manager of Independence Indoor Shooting. She's also an instructor, an avid hunter, long-range shooter, and she's always a great person to chat with. So we talk about the current state of the gun world, 2020's hunting season, and a whole lot more. We really enjoyed this episode, so we hope you do too, and thanks for listening to episode 127 of Range Minded, the Sarah Van Acker interview 2020. Hello and welcome to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. My name is Mark Long and I am joined as always by...
Again in studio, Steve Zimmerman.
In person and as well by...
Nick Hoffer.
And we have the loudest...
Van Acker.
I was going to say the loudest guest we've ever had. Sarah Van Acker again with us again.
And if you haven't listened to any of the Sarah Van Acker episodes, stop
They're the best
and go
ones.
back and listen to them and then come back.
Yes, please do that.
You have to come back in order to get the full story.
Well, and for those people who are too lazy to do that, Sarah, why don't you tell us what you do at the shop and just give us a little intro.
I work in the warehouse. I suppose I'm the warehouse manager, but I'm not. I only manage myself, which I suppose is a tough enough job. And I am an instructor. I teach the women's classes and the independent women when it's in session. And
you did first shots the other day?
Did first shots, do defensive pistol. I'm about to start doing, what is it? The NRA, refuse to be a victim.
Interesting. What's that class about?
It's more of a seminar on just self-protection, situational awareness. It's a women's class for the most part.
Very cool.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I got to get the instruction courses underway next month.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so sounds like you've been doing a lot more teaching then lately.
Yeah, a lot more teaching, which is a good thing because the warehouse can be kind of repetitive.
Boring.
It's delightful every second.
But it's solitude.
It is. I'm by myself a lot, which I like. I'm already socially distanced. That's nice. But the teaching, I really enjoy the teaching, and I've been doing a lot more of it. So
to teach a class,
happy.
it's hard to explain, but it's totally different. Like
Absolutely.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it takes a lot out of you. You wouldn't think so, but I got home last night after class, and I was about done.
You were over it?
Yeah.
Ready to just be quiet?
Yeah, just silence. I don't have to worry about anybody pointing guns at me.
Right. Well, you get a lot of silence in the warehouse too.
I
right?
kind of do. I don't realize how noisy it is, though, until I get home and it's really quiet at the house. And I realize that my background noise at work is gunshots all day long. So I get home and I'm like, I don't hear anything.
Yeah,
great.
that's always fun. You can tell somebody's never been in a gun shop before when they hear the gunshots or hear like full auto and they like tense up and freak out. And it's like, if you've been here long enough, you realize.
I still do that.
Do you?
I still do that when I hear full auto.
Oh, I don't.
I get excited and I run towards the sound.
Yeah.
That's the right way to do it. So, but yeah, let's see. You also do a lot of hunting.
I do.
Been around the world hunting a little bit.
I have. It's wonderful. Yes.
Do you teach hunter safety too?
I'm hunter safety certified. I haven't been doing it lately. They're shut down pretty much because of COVID. So
sure,
it's been quite some time.
Is hunting season kind of canceled for 2020, or you can still go out and hunt and get tags? You can still go out and hunt
as long as your unit's not on fire. But you can socially distance really well when you're out hunting.
But that doesn't mean you can start the unit on fire.
Yeah, don't start the unit on fire.
No tannerite, no gender reveal parties, none of that stuff.
Or tannerite gender reveal parties.
Well, unfortunately, they already beat you to that, so we don't have anything to catch on fire.
Yeah.
Are you saying my gender's revealed? Because that sounds a little strange.
Well, I'm not going to make you choose one, so.
And how I choose is my choice.
Thank you.
Anyway,
for exercising your choice.
So anyways, back to hunter safety.
We go there.
So, well,
it's not my fault. I was born this way.
You're just born weird, that's all. Yeah, so you're kind of all over the gun world, and you really never thought you were kind of into the gun. I mean, you grew up with guns, right? I grew up around guns. My family were hunters. My dad, my stepdad were, but I was never really brought into it until I was a teenager, bow hunting. And I was a teenager, so I didn't like it very much because you had to cover yourself in animal urine and then traipse around the mountains for days. That was gross. So I didn't really start the hunting part again until my late 20s. So. And what got you into it? For like 5 years I've been hunting. What got you back into it?
My current husband, I had hunted a little bit every now and then before that, but he's a big time hunter, and so it was kind of a condition of our marriage that I had to be a big time hunter as well.
It was in the vows.
Yeah.
So he
all right.
sold you with the animal urine?
Yeah, that was it. It's like, all right, I remember that smell. It's nostalgic.
So I mean, you're a woman of many talents, and a lot of different.
I don't know if I'm talented.
Whatever.
But I am capable.
She also, like, when we have sales or whatever, she's like designing the ads that go on the newspapers and all this other
I do
stuff.
the
She doesn't
graphic
say
design.
any of that stuff.
There you go. Yeah.
She's kind of a big deal.
Oh,
The behind the scenes unsung hero of independence indoor shooting.
I do like the graphic design. That's fun.
Let's talk about independent women a little bit too. Is that still going on?
Yeah, independent women's on hold too. We weren't getting the numbers. Our Monday group, the early morning group, usually was generally an older population, not old, but they were the risky age, and so they pretty much just quit. And so we weren't having the numbers, so we canceled the fall session.
That's frustrating.
Sadly, yeah.
That's a bummer.
And with the ammo shortage, that's not helping it either. So we can't really shoot. It'd just be a group of us talking about shooting, and I don't want to have to make people pay to do that. It seems silly. So
Yeah, you can do that for free.
hopefully winter, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Ammo's
It needs
still hard
to break
find.
loose.
It's been kind of a bummer.
Yeah, we're kind of a weird, time in the world of shooting, huh?
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even noticed that the 22 ammo is starting to go out of stock when I
Yeah,
walked
we were
through the
running
store.
low
Yeah, we sold a bunch
Really?
today.
So that's my go-to too. Now I'm starting to get scared.
Yeah. Yeah, then you really can't shoot. I mean, but
We have a lot of 40. We have plenty of that available. So
If only I could get those guns back that were in 40 that I've gotten rid of. And
like 10 years ago, they
Yeah.
were super cool to have.
Steve still got some. I look at him.
Yeah, but he didn't bring any.
No comment.
His
Now
silence
he's
speaks
laughing.
volumes. Yeah. So,
I can't help it if I hate selling. Oh. So like that's my how I talk my wife into me buying guns is like, oh look, I could make some money off this gun. I'll sell it later on. And she forgets that I still own it.
a lot of the women in my class will say, "Well, my husband said that we could sell this gun. Is that true?" I just
What do you
well, it's a little bit like a car. Loses some value.
So
Right.
speaking of that, on the last podcast or the podcast before, we talked about it was a couple ago when I talked about guns being like cars and trading them in.
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. I had a customer in the shop yesterday talking to me about an XDS that he sold for $635, took that money and traded it directly over and got the Hellcat and 2 boxes of ammo.
Nice.
wow.
So there was some equity in that gun.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
own
now's
that
the
gun.
different story.
I own that gun, and I'm like, could you find me a buyer for mine too? Because that's $300 more than I paid brand new.
Well,
Wow.
a few episodes
Yeah.
ago, we talked about at gun shows, some of these dealers are selling 19s for $800-900.
Oh, they're going, because
Yeah.
we can't get them.
Yeah.
I can't get them anywhere. And you would be the woman to know what, if what's coming in. And
Every time a 19 or a 17 comes in, I'm like, oh, and then it'll last about 30 seconds on the floor.
Supposed to call Steve whenever 19 shows up. You
well,
call Steve.
when I got my Glock in
You got it
July
just in
or
time.
June, I think I called like the right time, and Levi was like, "We got 3 of them, and if you want me to set aside one for you, I can." And that was that. So I got lucky with that one. It was just the right time at the right place.
Yeah, very small windows. They
So
don't last
without jumping too deep into it, why is it such a shortage right now?
long. Everybody wants
Demand,
one.
Why is the demand so high, Steve?
chaos, and
The
election
new
year.
shooters, it's full of new shooters. My theory is we have a bunch of new shooters, a bunch of people who were previously anti-gun, and so the only thing they know is a Glock. Every gun's a Glock because that's the name that stands out.
and
So
you know,
I
it's
don't
in all
know
the
they-
rap
We
songs,
want a
so-
Glock.
And I don't know if these 5 million new gun owners were so much anti-gun. I think there's definitely a fairly
I
large
think
segment of that number that
now
are.
the ones we're seeing, like
But I think they were
the later they are, the more they're like, well,
yeah,
maybe
now.
Yeah.
But
previously, no.
But I think it was just
everybody.
people that didn't see the need for a gun. We're
Yeah.
going to have the cops all the time. I'll just call the cops if something happens. Well, now there's a problem with the cops, or there are no more cops to come to your door.
There's uncertainty everywhere,
Yeah.
and I think everybody's starting to realize that your safety and your self-protection is in your own hands rather than
And
somebody else's.
And I want to tell Nick thanks because I watched that documentary last night.
Oh, man.
I was up till 2 a.m. watching that documentary.
What was the name of the documentary again?
Social Dilemma.
Oh my gosh.
It's on Netflix about social media, and I've got it on my watch list, and I'm just afraid because it's going to be depressing.
Gosh.
It's gonna scare you when you watch it. I'm telling you. I didn't touch my phone for 10 minutes after I watched it.
And then you got this random notification from somebody you didn't realize was trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah, exactly. My phone was like, why isn't he on Facebook? He hasn't been on Instagram in 45 seconds.
Is he okay?
Let's say that Impractical Tacticals said something to him. Let's do that. And we all know that he didn't really do that because he's never on there.
Because he's never on it, yeah.
This, you think it's a conspiracy, but these people are like, yeah, that's how it works.
Like the heads of the developers of the apps and people who worked in the higher ups, they sit there and they say, yeah, we left because we felt like it was wrong.
One was an ethicist from Google. He's like, I had to leave. I showed everybody what was going on, and his report went crazy at Google, and then all of a sudden,
nothing.
It vanished. And he's like, well, cool. I'm out of here.
And then the other guy worked for Facebook, and his job was to figure out how to monetize Facebook and how they were going to implement ads.
Yeah, because I remember when Facebook first started, they said there wasn't going to be advertisements ever, or there wasn't going to be any. It was just to connect people, like when it was in colleges and stuff.
Dude, it's an eye-opening documentary.
I'm actually surprised Netflix made that.
Yeah, that surprises me.
And maybe you want to watch it sooner than later because it might not be on there for much longer.
I mean,
maybe
they'll keep the children movies, but that one will be gone instantly as soon as it takes off.
That's those crazy wackos watch stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the social dilemma.
Well, speaking of new shooters, though,
let's get back to topic.
Let's. Have you had a lot of new shooters in your classes then?
Absolutely, yes. Our classes are booked.
So it's probably tough to get into a class even if you have a gun and ammo.
We're trying to promote our classes. We don't have to, but we talk to the current classes about our next classes, and we're like, well, you can't take it until December, but we're trying. We can't get the instructors, and because I have it's essentially 2 jobs here, so stuff we can't teach every single day, and so it makes it challenging to fill those classes with instructors.
Right. Are you surprised by the people that are coming in to take those classes?
Not really. It makes sense at this point. It's a lot of people who really weren't that interested to begin with. As far as the women go, it's the women who are fairly comfortable with firearms but haven't shot one. They have a spouse or friend or whatever. They just and they feel like now's the time that they need to learn to use a gun. Yeah. And they're starting to take the initiative to themselves. So I love that. And we have a lot of men coming into these classes that are just like, well, here we are. And it's nice. The classes, it's very open-minded. I'm not hitting the students that already know everything, and I have to gently remind them that maybe they need to listen a little more.
Do you find that more in men or women?
You can be honest here.
Yeah, you can be honest.
Men are the worst.
Yeah. I will not disagree.
And I agree too.
Well, it's not straight across the board. Every now and then I'll get a woman who's it has some bad habits, but for the most part, the guys... If you get a guy who's like, I'm just here for moral support, you're like, oh,
yeah,
here we go.
We're going to keep our eye on you.
Here's a coloring book, stand in the back.
Wow.
But for the most part, it's brand new shoot people who have never touched a gun, and just want to learn, want to get their foot in the door. A lot more private lessons too.
Oh, really?
A lot more private lessons. It's amazing what they're twice the price for a quarter of the time. So
right.
It's just amazing what people are wanting to do. They want to learn now.
And I like doing the private instruction because you can really tailor what you're doing to that individual. And and even though it's more money, it really seems like the level of instruction's higher because they're getting exactly what they need at the time.
Yeah, you're not
of
distracted
progressing with the rest of the class.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you can't learn it all with one class. So that's what I worry about. The students who want to come in and take several lessons, that's great. That's awesome because then I can get them to a level they want to get to. But someone who just wants me to teach them the basics, how the bullet comes out of the gun and how they get it there, is it's a little, when I send them out the door, I'm kind of like, well, I hope they come back.
Yeah, but at least they have the basics down.
Yeah, I try to emphasize a lot. There's just so much to learn. So just learning how to pull the triggers, that's not all of it.
Do you find that there's a lot of people who actually, maybe they were anti-gun or maybe they were a little hesitant or whatever, but then they actually enjoy it once they start getting a little bit of trigger time in?
Yeah. We see that a lot in the first shots class. The first shots class is the one where it's very, 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 we expect you to never have touched a gun, been around a gun. And it's only 10 shots out of a 22. It's all like a very brief basic pistol class. And then we stand in the lane with you. And if they're super nervous, I'll load the gun for them, do everything, rack the slide, everything. And then all they do is hold onto it and press the trigger. And there's a lot of sweaty palms, a lot of people who look so scared when they walk in that you're kind of concerned that the gun's going to fall out of their hands when they shoot. But so far, 100% of the time they've shot that gun, they've been like, oh,
that wasn't so.
Well, I'll keep shooting.
I could keep doing this.
Yeah, I'll do that. And then they take the next classes, and that's fantastic. I love seeing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think especially if you take, classes or sign up for multiple classes back to back, that's really where you can grow your base level of training really quickly, and it stays there.
Yeah.
I remember taking, intermediate to advanced and enhanced and concealed carry all within like 6 months, and all of those skills kind of built onto each other. And it was nice you really get a lot more, I think, value for your money out that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're getting, unfortunately now everybody's trying to, since the classes are booked so far out, so they'll register for all the classes all at once. They'll have basic and enhanced and defensive pistol all at once, and they'll have them as close together as they can get them. And
sure.
That can be, jumping from a basic pistol class to enhanced concealed can be quite the leap for some people. So I try really hard to emphasize you need to practice between those classes.
Yeah.
It's because if you jump straight from basic pistol and shooting 50 rounds is a little tough for you. Going to the concealed carry that you have to qualify with 98 rounds, that's we've had a few people who it takes some time.
Yeah.
So with the ammo shortages and the prices going up, is there classes besides the first shots class that you mentioned where you do more instruction, less shooting? Is there a way to train without having to do a lot of shooting now?
We do a lot of dry fire. We really spend a lot of time on dry fire right now because I can't tell them to come back and practice all the time. Take that $30 box of ammunition you just bought and come waste it in 20 minutes. I feel bad telling people that.
Yeah.
So lots of dry fire, a lot of explaining how to do it safely, the procedures when you're in your house and all that, so that they can still practice, have the movements, the fundamentals without actually having to come and spend the money. Because, especially all we had for a while was that self-defense ammunition, and it's literally $40 a box. So don't want to
so far, that's all I see out there now anyways.
Yeah, there's not much out there, man.
We have a little bit set aside for the academy, but it's going really, really fast.
Yeah.
I wonder how well SIRT pistols are selling right now.
Well, talking to Adam Boyce, he's trying to increase that quantity of what he uses to train because he likes using those to train people with. But it's not the same experience, but at least it's something.
That's what I'm saying. Like with the cost of ammunition, like I train a lot with 22, and that's what I was saying. It's running off the shelf too. So I'm gonna have to find another alternative.
Yeah,
because
BB guns.
That's true.
Well, honestly, airsoft and at least with SIG, I guess Humorex makes them almost 1-to-1.
I think
clones.
they do, yeah.
I'm going to get an Air Force rifle, and that'll be my pellet gun.
I bought a Humorex Glock, and it does not fit it is not the same gun.
A lot of those airsoft guns don't fit the
really frustrating.
holsters.
But SIG makes exact 1-to-1. So if you're running a SIG and you're having trouble with ammo, but you want to still train, that might be an option to get a SIG airsoft gun because they are 1-to-1. The same weight, the same feel, everything is exactly the same, which is cool.
And then Adam talked about what the cool barrels or.
Yeah, the CO2 barrels.
Yeah, you can get like ones that simulate the recoil a little bit, and
I've shot those. They're okay.
At least it's some kind of recoil. It is obviously not the same. But.
Yeah, and then we've talked about the Mantis X thing a couple times.
I do love the Mantis.
Do you have one?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
I went to look for one. We don't have any here.
We should have them here.
There's base plates out there. I didn't see any. Maybe they're somewhere I didn't look.
Someone bought them. That's great. I'll order more.
Yeah, please order more because I actually thought about buying one.
They're fantastic. You just hook the little device to your rail on whatever gun you have. Actually, they hook to bows and rifles as well.
Oh, wow.
And they'll give you feedback, instant feedback on real-time feedback, what's happening with your shots, and videos on how to correct whatever you're doing wrong and your percentages. And you can compete with other people and share your information. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we need that, Steve.
We do need that.
I want to get one.
You guys can be on a team.
Oh,
Oh, no, I
We
want to
could
go
compete.
against him.
Yeah.
I was to say we could compete, and then we could get, because I want to do an episode where we review it, where we take it and we have it for like a month or so.
Absolutely should do that. Those guys would love it too. Those guys are super smart. It's a really cool little device, and they'll give you. They have. They're doing virtual stuff right now since dry fire is so popular. They're actually on social media. They have these contests, and they'll send you a patch if you can finish like the basic marksmanship.
Oh, cool.
And the advanced marksmanship, and it's a lot more of a challenge than you would think.
And I
it would
like
be.
patches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
we'll
not
see
much
if
of
you
a
can
patch
get the
person,
basic.
so I was like,
I might be able to.
Wasn't doing it for you.
yeah. I was like, I don't know. I've been busy shooting my XL anyway, and it doesn't take the Mantis.
Oh, bummer.
So I just have to assume I'm a perfect shooter.
Well, you're pretty damn good anyway. So it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter.
true. That's true. So,
The red dot helped.
oh, you have a red dot now?
No, I switched. I went to the dark side. Got a red
Really?
dot.
Well,
Yep.
you can get the recover rail that the Mantis will fit on for that.
Yeah, I got it. Ryan gave one to me. I just need to. It doesn't fit in my holster, so.
If
Oh,
only we
yeah.
knew who made one for the recover.
I don't know. Probably nobody good. Somebody who does custom stuff. I don't know. Probably nobody good.
I've only
I
done.
actually I sent
I've
you
only
an
done
email
like.
about. I wanted a unicorn holster, and sadly I never got a response.
I must have never seen that because
I figured
I
you're a
unicorn
busy
would
guy.
remember
I
that.
want a unicorn holster.
There was a
In the worst
there was
way.
a bad period of time where I missed a lot of emails.
It wasn't a dire thing. It's just like
like
ooh, I
a
want
like a
unicorn
holster with unicorns on it.
Yeah, like
Oh.
the Kydex's unicorns and
Oh
rainbows.
yeah. That'd go along with your killing shirt that you're wearing right now. See, I think that's why Sarah's like one of the best examples of a gun owner, because you're so happy and cheery and open and friendly, and you have a style that is, it's not like, how do I put it? Like,
I don't know. She's wearing a shirt that says "This is my killing
but there's a
shirt."
rainbow
So I'm just
on it.
saying.
She wants a
like,
unicorn holster, so it's an interesting mix, and it shows that there are all types of gun owners out there in the world.
I'm not the tactical kind of.
Not tactical Sarah.
I do like the cargo pants, but
Those are more kind of convenient. I
that's a
think.
convenient work thing. I can't really wear those fashionably outside in the workplace.
Yeah.
I don't think cargo shorts have ever been fashionable anyway.
But gosh, they're so practical.
I know you can't wear them out anywhere. Although, you're not wearing cargo shorts, are you?
No,
cargo
these-
pants.
No,
not today. He changed his uniform today.
barely.
Yeah. Let's talk about hunting a little bit, because obviously that's a big thing.
Yeah.
I would say that your two big focuses are, pistol shooting and then hunting,
Yes.
right? And then obviously you do bow hunting and stuff too.
I do love the bow hunting.
She does long range as well.
I do the long range.
We'll do a little bit. We'll get into long range too. But
She's a busy gal.
how does your pistol shooting either relate, or how is it different than your training for hunting?
Well, gosh, training for hunting. The concepts as far as just, aiming and being steady and calm and all the fundamental stuff's all the same. Even with the bow hunting, it messes me up switching between my pistol and my bow sight, because you look at well, I'm really messed up right now because I've just switched from the iron sights to the red dot. And so
Sure.
with iron sights, you're looking at the front sight, and with the red dot, you're looking at the target. And with the bow, you're supposed to be looking at the target, but I'm left eye dominant and right-handed, so I get messed up even more. And it all relates, but you get messed up either way. But it all comes down to just being patient and knowing your equipment and practicing a lot. All of them, all the disciplines.
How do you practice for hunting?
Hunt.
Just going out there and hunting.
Just practicing with the equipment. You dry fire with the rifles, going out to the range and making sure your equipment's still good, and put a few rounds down range. Obviously, the rifle rounds are way more expensive, so you don't want to waste those, especially
take your
now because we
time.
can't get the rifle ammo either. But
Oh, really?
yeah, everything's gone unless you want like some obscure round that the old timers love. But the popular stuff's hard to find. So yeah, just and you can dry fire at home. That's a really important thing because especially with long range, the triggers are super, super light. So it's really important, especially when I'm shooting a pistol all the time with a heavier trigger, to get on a rifle and I
start to
yank that trigger, and
it.
Dennis laughs at me. He's like, you got to remember what you're shooting. Oh yeah, okay, soft.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's interesting how you can, like, the manual of arms is almost the same and the basics are the same, but when you shift from a pistol to like a hunting rifle, even an AR or a shotgun, there's so many different things that you can change or mess up or whatever, and you have to, like you said, remember what you're shooting. So, and yeah, like Steve alluded to, if he's still alive.
It's been a long day.
I believe it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I know you taught a whole 3 hours today.
No, 9 hours.
That is a long class.
9 hours.
It's a lot of listening.
That is.
9 hours.
You taught a 9-hour RSO class today.
A full 9-hour
mandated
class.
I'm impressed.
Yes.
I didn't know you had that much
Beginning to
knowledge in
end.
you.
After about 6, it starts to wear away.
Start from the beginning and loop back to the beginning.
It's kind of like a helium balloon, After a couple of days, it just kind of
just kind of looks sad.
about
in the corner.
3 hours into it. That's me.
But like Steve said, you're into long range too.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother ball game.
Long range is awesome.
Yeah. And obviously you got into that because of your husband.
Yes.
Who's he's a decent long range shooter. I've heard.
He's all right.
He's okay.
Unfortunately, he will never be on the podcast because
I'm
We
sorry.
tried.
Might just have to pay him or something. Like, hey, I want to learn how to do long range, and I'll pay you up front.
I don't think any amount of money could.
We'll just tell him it's like a one-on-one instruction,
And then we'll just record the
if
whole
he even
thing.
suspects,
and we'll go to the range to shoot, but we'll have all this
We'll
equipment.
just have this all here. And,
he would love that.
oh, it was just left over from last time. Sorry, man. Why don't you take a seat? Hang out.
It's not working.
So long range is, like I said, a whole nother ball game too, right?
Yeah, that's.
Even from hunting.
Yeah, but they tie in together. After I became a much better hunter after I started the long range stuff, because you're shooting out past 1,000 yards, and there's a lot, especially with the trigger work and getting good optics. There's a lot to it. So when I went back out and started hunting, taking a shot. A little bit longer shot, because before that, 200 yards, that was a stretch for me. And so,
Sure.
But after getting really confident with the long range stuff, I'm good with a 500-yard shot and in the right conditions. It's just, you still have to do it ethically. I won't shoot I won't shoot any animal beyond 500 yards. So.
Sure.
But
I think I can hit it from 900. Let's try it.
yeah,
I think you can hit it, Steve, but I don't know if you can
it's
get
just gonna
there.
smack it a little.
I ain't walking that far. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah, it's not going to do anything. Yeah.
It's a 10-second shot and a 12-hour hike.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
No.
Had a couple of those.
Yeah, and but with long range, was it tough to kind of get into and get good at, or did you kind of have some natural
It's like anything. It takes some time and practice. Dennis was really good at it, obviously, and I took the class before he was an instructor, and thankfully he knew at that time to leave me alone about it. He just let me do it on my own, and it was awesome. Taking that class that was amazing. That first time I shot the 1,000-yard gong with a little Savage, 6.5 Creedmoor, that was amazing, and I was pretty hooked after that, and it's just a discipline to practice and get behind the rifle, do your dry fire, and it's not something that you're going to take one class and be done with it and you're an expert. A lot of people do that. They take the one class and they want to go out and hunt the next, right afterwards.
The next day,
that's
the next
not how it
week.
works, and that's unethical. And those are the people that we worry about wounding animals, and hunting's a very ethical thing. So you gotta be good at it. You have to be confident in those shots.
Can you talk about that a little bit, just like what you mean by how it's an ethical thing? Because I think a lot of people, especially people who don't know about hunting, they just think you go out there with a rifle and you just shoot it, and
just point and shoot, it's just fine.
And that's it. And if you make it, cool. If you don't, then whatever, it doesn't matter. But it does matter. There's a lot to it.
Absolutely. Well, there's that education behind it. It's more than just taking the hunter safety class. That's helpful, but it's just that's more of this is what you need to know. So beyond this class, you still need to be educated on it. You need to know the laws, the rules. You need to know trespassing. You need to know the unwritten rules, the etiquette, of it all, and then the ethics behind it. You don't shoot at an animal that's running. You don't shoot beyond your range. If you've shot a 1,000-yard gong, doesn't mean you can shoot a poor deer at 1,000 yards. Using the right ammo, just everything into it. You don't want to, the unspoken rules of not stealing another hunter's spot, those kind of things. Don't be a jerk. And there's a lot more behind it than just grabbing your rifle and making sure it's sighted in and
rolling out.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. We see a lot of brand new hunters that are breaking a lot of rules, and it's kind of, especially now as Boise's growing, all the units around Boise are getting filled with hunters.
Sure.
It's quite the show when general deer season starts and you go out south of Boise.
It's frustrating because we see some of the caliber of intellect coming to sight in their rifles.
I haven't shot all year. I'm going to put 2 rounds downrange. I'm good.
Or maybe he's listening. I shouldn't say. I was going to say something else, but I don't know. He might be a listener. So we'll just carry on.
Just carry on with that.
Because if I go into this...
We don't want to insult you to your face.
If I even go into this story, he'd be like... He's talking about me.
That was me.
Just one of those things where he was
because it is so
sitting
obvious
out there going, that was about me.
No, if I get into the story, it is so obvious that the guy will know exactly who he is. Exactly who he is.
Yeah, but that's good to know. Is that some people, you think that maybe you could just go out and hunt or whatever, but you needed, to train just as often as you would with a handgun or anything else.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff behind it. The knowing your backstop, especially right now, is a big one because there's some hunts out there. It's like a free-for-all. There's a tremendous amount of tags left out, and so when the season starts, last year it was a lot of elk. People will just go out there, and as soon as they see one, they'll just start lobbing shots at it. Ooh. So a lot of wounded animals, and it's awful to see, and it's kind of disturbing. And then when you're camping, people leaving trash everywhere, beer cans.
That's the most frustrating part.
It's very easy stuff, very common sense stuff, but there's still
just the basics.
It's kind of scary. You don't want to be out there when that when the general seasons start.
Yeah. Well, I think now with as prevalent as camping and as many people are around here, that even during the hunting season, people are still out bebopping around the mountains. Mm-hmm. Well, it's hunting season, where it used to be the mountains were empty and it was only hunters out.
Yeah, that's getting a lot of we see more and more people.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
People don't know. There's people that are new to the area and they don't know what's going on, or they don't think about it. They just think it's there for all the time and don't have to think about what anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Well, and the property is a big thing too. Idaho really changed its trespassing laws about a year ago, where they'll go after you really hard now if you trespass on someone's property. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think Idaho's, kind of the free for all, where it's not fenced, and so I get to go on it, and if it's not marked, then it's mine.
That's dangerous thinking.
You can't do that anymore. So, but we still see a lot of people trespassing and doing kind of shady stuff on other people's property too.
And the thing is, at least in eastern Idaho, some of those big landowners that I know over there, most of the time, if you just ask,
you just got to call,
communicate with them.
They're usually happy to
accommodate.
A lot of them, that adds to it. There's we talk to a lot of farmers who are saying that, we used to allow people to, but they would, we'd let one guy on, he'd bring his friends, they'd tear stuff up, they'd leave trash out, they'd leave the fences, the gates open so the cows got out, and people don't think about that kind of stuff. They don't know what free range is. They don't know what's this gate for? I don't see a cow anywhere. So it's that. So that's discouraging too, because then we can't get permission to go on land because someone else ruined it for us, and we're seeing more and more of it. I guess that's just kind of inevitable with the population's just going to keep going up.
Influx of people,
we're just going to have to move into the middle of nowhere. It's our only choice.
Only way. Well, let's switch gears over to, female shooters, because obviously you're getting a lot of new female shooters in. Just a lot of new shooters in general, but I think there's a lot of female shooters in that mix.
Yeah, so many.
Do you think that, maybe when things go back to normal, I guess if things go back to normal, that the landscape of the gun owner is going to be changed a little bit with that?
I think it's going to be a little different. There's a lot more women. It's like that first shots class when they come in really hesitant and nervous, and they take a few shots and they're like, oh. So my hope is that the women who have been coming in and taking these classes and the seminars are more likely to come back and start doing more fun shooting and doing, okay, well, this isn't so bad, so maybe I'll continue doing it, and then get into the concealed carry, because when I mentioned concealed carry to the women in the basic classes, almost all of them are like, no, I have no interest in concealed carrying. I didn't either when I first started with my handgun. I thought that would be never ever happen, but here we are, and I hope to see that in a lot of these ladies, because there's a lot of good shooters out there. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
I kind of had a conversation along these lines with a customer today about they were waiting for a background check that took forever. But anyway, regardless of that, but we were just talking about the huge influx of new first-time firearms owners, and I told her I was excited because in a few months I'll be able to buy some used guns at a good price.
Yeah.
And because I really think that's going to happen. But there is going to be hopefully a majority of that 5 million people that are going to stay with it. Mm-hmm. And so that's exciting, right? For the instructor standpoint, that's exciting as long as they're being responsible.
I would think they would hold on to their guns because this is kind of an unprecedented thing.
Yeah.
And now a lot of people are going to be like, I don't want to deal with that again.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wait.
I'd rather be prepared.
Well, even let's just say 50% of those people. So we have 2.5 million new people supporting the Second Amendment, or at least being a more advantageous or aggressive about it, or whatever you want to call it.
Passionate.
That's probably a better word than aggressive. So, but if those 2.5 million people vote or make their voices heard to a gun rights organization or something, that is a huge influence, huge influence for the community. So it could be really, really good for the Second Amendment. I worry about the Second Amendment. I remember when we very first started, you and Ricky laughed at me for what I said about how I think it's going to change forever, and it will not be the same as what we had 2 years ago. And I still feel that way right now with the way things are going. But maybe with this influx of gun owners, that could
be an unintended consequence of what's going on.
And I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I don't know. We'll see.
There's a lot of the problem is when you're first into it. What I think about is like the red flag laws and, banning the black guns and things of that sort. A lot of the brand new handgun shooters who were kind of on the fence before still don't know a lot of what's behind that if you change one law and that snowball effect. Yeah. So trying to get people to go in and continue their education and learn about this kind of stuff, that's going to be the big deal.
It really does cascade.
To learn. There's so much more to it than what's on the surface.
Yeah, more than just handguns.
It's not just us with a bunch of conspiracy theories.
Well, Biden has said straight up that if or when he gets elected, like they're going to shut down not just online firearm sales, but ammunition and components. Like that's going to be gone. And knowing Harris, making an executive action would be very difficult because it just doesn't really work that way. But I think they'll try their best to do it.
I think the stage is set for a gun ban if he's in office.
Yeah.
Like it will only take a few shootings on the street with them in office to set the stage.
Well, we see the violence and the unrest right now. Like or hate President Trump, I think he's keeping a pretty level head at it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things I do not like about him. I mean, this is not a political talk show. There's a lot of things I don't like about him, and there's a lot of things I don't like about his perspective on the Second Amendment, quite honestly. But I think he's doing an all right job right now. But if it gets crazy and we get somebody who doesn't like guns in office that has the ability to wield a pen, it could get crazy.
Does he have the ability to wield a pen?
They can do things executive order, but those are not long term. A lot of that stuff has to be done through the Senate and the House, right? The only way you can really ratify or change the Constitution.
Well, we could get lucky because Biden might not remember how to click the pen or take the cap off.
He's already forgot.
So. And the states, you have to ratify, an amendment through the states and everything. But
so, there's hope. But
you never know.
But I still think that threat is real. I guess I'm a realist when it comes to that, but not to be a Debbie Downer. Right? The threat is real. I
think there's the potential for anything at this point.
Yeah, you never. Freedom. You can't know what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, I can't be like, no, that'll never happen because I said that before, and here I am.
Well, Reagan said freedom is one generation from gone, right?
Sure.
So, that's why each individual matters.
Well, and I think even from now till November, it's going to get more crazy, and you're going to see less and less ammo and less firearms on the shelves. So
and more craziness.
Yeah,
more craziness because that's what we see when we get on social media.
More craziness after November anyway.
I believe that.
So we'll see. But
No matter who gets elected.
Yeah,
Yes.
either way, it's going to be,
either way, it'll be a little nuts.
it'll be
So.
amazing. Very excited.
But in reality, like, let's get away from the negative. I think there's a lot of opportunity with that as well. More opportunity with teaching classes, more opportunity with people saying, holy cow, this world is crazy, and I don't know anything about guns. I need to learn.
I need to teach myself and get trained. And
So there is a lining to it still, a silver lining to a lot of this stuff. And maybe it helps people understand that, being part of a community and being part of like-minded people is a good thing too.
Yeah. And, it actually brought something up too that I thought about is we asked Adam this, but I don't think we've ever asked Sarah this, is what makes a good instructor to you? If somebody's looking to get training and they can't come to Independence, what makes a good trainer to you?
To me specifically, what makes a good trainer? Someone who's personable, just somebody I get along with. That's why I tell people that if I'm not the right person for them, then absolutely you just find an instructor and go with them. Mm-hmm. Someone who's well-rounded, has kind of had I don't know how to say it. Someone who's purely, like for me personally, I come from strictly civilian. I have no police, no military experience. So someone who's really well-rounded and has a lot of education and from the civilian side and as well as the military and LE side. And that's what's interesting to me. Or just someone who has the knowledge and the education rather than, it's a little unnerving to me when someone just, takes one class and then starts teaching. But
I have a paper that says I passed.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. You have to be personable. You have to be passionate about what you teach and knowledgeable. You have to have that, the knowledge is a big deal. The first class I ever taught, I was so scared someone was going to call me out for, you don't know anything. So I've made it my mission to learn as much as I can all the time, and it's never going to end. There's always more to learn. So
yeah,
I think mostly just for me personally is someone who's knowledgeable and personable, who can relate that information across without being demeaning or forcing me to believe exactly or do exactly the way they do it, and
kind of meet them where they are. And
yeah, someone who's a little more malleable.
Cool.
And cheap.
That helps.
Affordable.
Yes.
Steve is very cheap.
I was going to say,
Yes.
Steve is
Steve's so
cheap.
cheap.
Yes.
Sarah's affordable.
I'm so cheap. I mean, look at the shotgun right here.
Yeah, it doesn't even work.
It does this. That's a universal language.
Yeah. Well, you guys have any more questions for Sarah?
I'm good.
How can we find you, Sarah?
I'm here always, all the time, Monday through Friday.
So if there's some gals out there that want to get some one-on-one instruction or anything, they can come in and ask for you?
Yeah, they can come back and ask for me, or they can email the academy. It's academy@iishooting.com, and we can get them underway. I'm off a little bit more now because of hunting season, but
yeah, you're still gonna go out and hunt, right?
Yeah. Yep, still got to do it.
Very cool. Yeah, and if you want to get a hold of Sarah too, you can email us, podcast@iishooting.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Range Minded Podcast, and we'll connect you with Sarah.
Sarah with an H.
Sarah with an H. Yeah, so thanks.
There's a long story behind that is too long to talk about, but hi.
You're going to educate us on how her parents named her?
No. No.
Was there a Sarah without an H?
No.
It's a long story.
It goes back from the beginning of Sarah at Independence.
I gotcha.
It's an inside joke, guys.
That'll be one for we'll dive into that one at the next
This
episode.
is how I remember.
So.
Every time I think of Sarah, I just, hi.
My rainbow hands.
Yep. That's the very first thing. Hi, my name's Sarah.
That's a testament to how friendly you are.
I was nervous.
Oh, good times. Good times.
Good times. So thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
All right. Peace out. Be safe.
Thank you, guys.
Take somebody shooting.
Thanks for listening to Range Minded. Find us online at Range Minded Podcast on Facebook, or send us an email at podcast@iishooting.com. We're always happy to get feedback, episode suggestions, whatever you want to send us, really. And be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and pretty much wherever else you get your podcasts from. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.